we're dancing a cotillion called a new social order, which is exactly what my work at New Lanark will bring about.
Surely, Mr. Owen, you don't intend our workers to be dancing when they could be working.
Oh, indeed I do, sir. And all to attend from the age of 3 to the age of 12 at my Institute for the Formation of Character.
What?
School?
School? Until they're 12? But, my dear Mr. Owen, their parents would never agree. They need money. They must put them to work.
Much of good or evil is acquired by a child very early in its life. Now, why should the children of the poor suffer in the formation of their characters for a few pennies a week?
I see no building resembling a church. I hear no singing of psalms. I hear no readings from the good book. All I see is a lot of boys disporting themselves without the benefit of sense or manners. Girls cavorting without the fear of God in their hearts.
Oh, but look at the happy open faces, sir. The glow of health on their cheeks. The strength growing in their frames. You see, that sociability, that adaptation to concerted effort in our modern manufactories will produce better goods and higher profits.
Discipline, Mr. Owen, can only be imposed on the alarming wildness of the human brute by strict instruction and the severest application of a system of reward and punishment.
Punishment? The human brute? Why, sir, we are engaged here in the production of happiness.
Your ideas betray a dreadful ignorance of the true nature of the Scottish worker.
Gentlemen, gentlemen, because of the willingness of my workforce, my mill produces higher quality goods that sell at higher prices than any other mill in Scotland, making my profits both very substantial and free from the threat of strike to which yours are so prone.
Enough of this mamby-pamby nonsense.
We will show you how it must be done.
These wild creatures must be tamed, as in a circus.
They must be disciplined by dominie, whip, and gun.
But first, they must be made receptive to discipline. They must be terrified. First comes hunger. Remember and fear. From field and bog it drove you here. Think not to escape its terrors. If once you disobey, fall into errors. Complain, combine, or strike moment. You'll find your children have nothing to eat. For discipline low and discipline high, or you and your loved ones will starve and die.
Now here comes homelessness. Cold and rain no longer kept out by your window pane. If you have disobeyed your master, if you've gone slower when he ordered faster, you'll lose your job, you'll lose your house, you'll be out on the street like the poor church mouse. Your master will rightly turn you and yours out, and you'll groan and recant. Too late, too late! For discipline first, and discipline last, or your hearth and home and peace are lost.
Now, disease. Mark well her face, the scourge and the curse of the human race. Once hunger and homelessness cross your path, disease will follow, as certain as death. Fevers, rheumatics, scabs, septicemia, diphtheria, cholera, typhoid, pneumonia, these are the wages of the unemployed. Your dreams all shattered, your health destroyed. So, discipline one and discipline all. Or into your grave you'll miserably crawl.
And now comes crime. Thank God behind bars. The last of this wicked assembly of fears. With so much humanity desperate to work, all crammed in their tenements, airless and dark. It's there that they learn to steal, rob, burgle and pocket pick, strangle and stab. But what is the wages of crime and abuse? By the cold prison bars, the chain, the noose. So discipline's a giver, and discipline's a taker. Live in fear and obedience, or you'll soon meet your maker.
You see, Mr. Owen, how simple and effective the traditional methods are.
You take away all hope, sir. All optimism. I'm off to Indiana to found a new way of life in a town called New Harmony. But I'll tell you this before I go. You may try to keep your workers down by force and fear, threats and punishments, but you will never succeed. I and my numerous followers in years to come know you get better discipline and better profits by striving for a better way of life for your workers. And kidding them on, you're on their side. And so, the British Labour Party was born. Farewell, New Lanark. Hello, New Harmony, Indiana.
These people are no longer farm labourers, cotters, unemployed weavers. They are mechanics, industrial workers. They must be taught how to behave in society, or we shall have no society.
Our burden has been placed upon us by God, who placed us in our place.
To teach the poor, the young, the worthless, to be worthy members of the human race.
For in every heart there lurks a demon within everybody, a rampaging beast. Madmen, black men, women, children, all serve evil at the devil's feast.
You, like children, must be beaten. Gladness without cause and pain. Sin chastised and bitterness sweetened. Broken limbs, tied straight and plain. In the child of all the motions, foul, obscene, of sex and lust, we've learnt to crush with strictest conscience.
Childish ways must be suppressed. Childish ways must be suppressed.
Corporal punishment is permitted only with tawse of ferula on the hand of breach with coolness and prudence. As alternatives to the tawse, there are canes, rulers, even the whalebone ribs of an umbrella. One ingenious dominie pierces his scholar's ears with sharp-pointed pens. A common and much dreaded punishment is a decoction of wormwood with aloes or senna to be swallowed in large spoonfuls. Firm discipline, in short, is a characteristic feature of school life.
Our burden has been placed upon us by God, who placed us in our place.
To teach the poor, the young, the worthless, to be worthy members of the human race.
For in every heart there lurks a demon, within everybody a rampaging beast. Madmen, black men, women, children, all some evil at the devil's feast.
They say the poor are always with us. Dreadful warning, look and fear. They must suffer, not deceive us. Show the whip strokes that they bear.
Poverty can't be attractive, must be seen as pain and woe. Riches, the reward and motive, that's all you know. And need to know.
A convict's day begins at 5:45 a.m. with the clanging of a bell in the corridor. First, the convict pulls on his uniform, stows his hammock, slaps water on his face, swabs down the slate floor, and by 6 a.m. pulls out his cobbler's bench, ready for work. At 7:30 a.m., the trapdoor in the cell drops open, and a hand pushes forward a mug of cocoa and a piece of bread. Breakfasts for 450 men can be delivered in 10 minutes. At 8 a.m., the cell doors swing open. Muster for chapel. Before stepping out on the catwalk, the convict dons a mask so that he will not be able to recognize any friends and accomplices. On command, the convicts march to the chapel. The chapel is divided into hundreds of box-like compartments, big enough for a body, ranged below a pulpit. The duty warden goes to a number machine and begins to crank. When the convict's number appears on the board, he steps out of file and moves along the rows until he reaches his compartment and closes the door behind him.
Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing.
At 9 p.m., the double bolts crash down across the cell door. Lights out.
Eyes be blinkered, ears be closed.
Mind obey. Fit snug the mold.
Soon the day we all have longed for.
They'll think our thoughts before they're told.
We're very, very low, as low can be. The rich are high, for we make them so, and a miserable lot are we.
We're low, our place we know. We're only the rank and file. We're not too low to kill the foe, but too low to touch the spoil.
We're low, we're very low. How low you can get? Please, I haven't eaten for 3 days.
Go on, force yourself.
Any rags?
On your way. Most the weavers work down the cellar. There'll be maybe a wee bit dark down there for the sun can't get in. But the cotton, you see, needs to be woven in the damp. So we work under the ground. Maybe with the rain draining in down the walls and the flare mere like a swamp. Not even the dugs. Not even the rats would live in it.
Discipline.
We're low, our place we know. Any empty beer bottles?
Do I look like that sort of a chap?
Any empty vinegar bottles? Any rags?
My father gangs at 2 in the morning, and I gang with the women at 5 and come up at 5 at night. Except Fridays. I work on next Fridays. I carry the coal and the creel for the face of the pit bottom, more than 100 weight at a time. Father says I've got to get to like it, but I dinna. I'm learning to read at the next school. I'm 11-year-old now.
These people are wild, barbaric. They behave like animals. Copulate at the first opportunity. Men with women, with children, with their own daughters.
They live in hovels. They neither care for them nor clean them. Bestial dwellings, unfit for pigs.
Some of the colliers say good houses. The most are bad. Rain comes in the roof, wind under the door. Floor, earth. Pile of ashes in the corner the bairns used to piss in. Oh, the smell's rank. What do my fellow colliers find to rouse them from their apathy and ignorance? Some of the men dress up like Mr. Tradesmen on a Sunday. Their wives and daughters go around in tatters. So dancing maybe, shooting matches, cockfights, whiskey, hitting each other, drunk. Straight home, mind.
Hard to believe, eh? Used to be coal miners in Scotland. We're low, we're very, very low. Any rags?
No the day, Seamus. I work in a mill, steam-driven looms. Oh, it's hot. I can't even open a window. We're locked in here all day. There's no air. There's cotton dust, cotton flies, there's steam, there's smoke, and to crown it all, there's a horrible smell of gas. Oh, the wains are sick all day. Half of them with TB before they're 16, coughing away. And me? I'll no be fit to work any more by the time I'm 40.
We're low, very, very.
Here. There's this woman going around with these wee leaflets. Look, I'll read it out to you, see what you think. You know too well sickness, your children's sickness and death, or the healthy ones off to factories in misery at 6 or 7 years old. Ah, the poor children, conceived when there is neither money nor room nor place for them in the world. What is the remedy? What is the remedy for women to whom pregnancy is dangerous, who may even die if they bear another child? The answer is short and plain. Do as other women do. A piece of sponge tied by a penny ribbon, inserted before intercourse, removed straight after, will not injure the health. This is no indecent practice or immorality. It will become in time the very bulwark of love and wisdom, of beauty, health and happiness. What do you think? Is it better than going to see the old wifey? We are drugs and needles. I'd say so.
Any rags?
I'm wearing them. I come for the Carlton. I've seen more crime, poverty, filth and disease than you believe existed in any one spot of a civilised country. Seen the lodging houses where I stay. We sleep 10, sometimes 20 to a room. Men and women. Poor labourers with their wives and kids. Thieves and prostitutes. And the unemployed like myself. Lying amongst so much shite, a respectable person would refuse to stable one of their horses in it.
The rich are high, for we make them so, and a miserable lot are we.
Hey, hello now, Seamus. Any rags? You know, in one particular part of Greenock, Market Street to be precise, there is a dunghill. Well now, it's a little bit on the big side to be called a dunghill. It's more an Everest of dung. And out from its foothills flow steaming rivulets round and about, like the delta of the River Nile. At least 100 cubic yards of human shite, collected from all parts of the town, and never a cartload removed, but another 2 come to take its place. And all alongside it, there is a line of privies, so you can add to it yourself, en passant, so to speak. And right next door, there is a mighty tenement building, 4 stories high. Well, it's bad enough in the winter time, but in the height of the summer, it would take the breath off a cat. And if you happen to leave a piece of bread and jam out for more than a couple of minutes, it's immediately settled on by millions of blue bottles and monster flies. And if you take a bite out of it, it tastes of pure dung. Oh, and just so you'll know, how great imperial forests from tiny acorns grow. The local name for this valuable resource is McDonald's.
Discipline! Discipline!
I can't work here. I'll need to find work in the mill, so I can do.
Discipline, discipline.
The work isn't good. As if I say it, father hits me and the men look at me. I'd like to go to work in a factory.
Discipline, discipline.
If I stay in this mill, I'll be dead in 5 years. If I don't, I'll be dead in 3. Oh, hey, come on, it's about time we got together. We're low, we're low, we're very, very low. And yet when the trumpets ring, the thrust of a poor man's arms will go through the heart of the proudest king.
Coordinate activities.
They held a dinner at which Abraham Duncan responded to the toast to the working classes, and in his turn proposed
To the abolition of the taxes on knowledge.
22nd of March, 1833, Paisley. I, Eileen Ritchie, joined the West of Scotland Powerloom Female Weaver Society. And here's my card to prove it.
A Glasgow and Clydesdale Colliers Union was formed, a printers' union for the whole of Scotland. The cotton spinners formed a union, and in March 1834, a female union of linen workers formed in Aberdeen.
in December 1833, the calico printers, the engineers, the optive stonemasons, the cabinet makers and the cotton spinners were all on strike.
Hey, come here and see the Argus. Scarcely a branch of trade exists in the west of Scotland that is not now in a state of union.
Bliss was it in their dawn to be alive, alive and young and rich. Time for opportunity, time of the golden touch. Enterprise, enterprise, enterprise. For as we tell you endlessly on platform and TV, first let the system flourish. Let enterprise run free. And soon from rich man's tables, the crumbs will start to fall. Those extra little blessings like shoes for one and all. So look back in nostalgia at Victoria's golden age before socialists and Marxists came pouring on the stage. The working folk were quite content and knew their life was blessed until those malcontents came in and said they were oppressed. And not till 1979, with Thatcher's great crusade, did care and hope and freedom come back to Britain's aid. So bear in mind, as now you see the workers' struggle climb. It's doomed to be undone by her. It's a total waste of time. Good night.
By Clyde's bonny banks, where I sadly did wander, among the pit heaps as the evening grew nigh, I spied a fair maiden all dressed in deep mourning, a weeping and wailing with many a sigh. I stepped up beside her and thus I addressed her, to tell me fairly of trouble and pain. Sobbing and sighing, at last she made answer, Johnny Murphy, kind son, was my true lover's name. 21 years of age, full of youth and good looking, work down the mines from High Blantyre he came. When the truth was made known, the hills rang with a mourning. 310 young miners were slain.
My father was a miner before me. I worked the deep pitted quarter just outside Hamilton. My name's Hardy, James Keir Hardy. In 1870, the price of coal went sky high, so the miners' wages went up as well. From 3 and 6 a day in 69 to 10 shillings a day in 72. Not bad, eh? But then the price of coal suddenly fell, so they cut the wages. From 8 shillings a day in 73 to 4 shillings a day in 74. And now we're coming into a Great Depression. The price of pig iron has come crashing down to rock bottom. So they want to cut the wages even more. The whole system in which wages are paid is rotten to the core. Why should the wages of the worker be at the mercies of the avarice or foolishness of the employer? The engine which winds the coal to the pit bank is better treated than the average miner. If sufficient fuel is not supplied to it to keep up the steam, then it at once strikes work. When the miner gathers strength enough, he too will follow the same example.
You think that's noisy? Should try when a wee scale for a bairn here in the shipyards. You send them up inside the tubes to hold the rivets. Their eardrums split. What's your water babies in you?
Last year, 1877, folk were starving all along the Clyde. The workshop of the world, the pride of British shipbuilding industry, starving to death in their own houses.
And now, 1878, they've brought in blacklegs. Cut the wages by another 7.5% and increased the hours again. What can we do about it? Nothing. There's 38,000 queuing at the soup kitchen.
Keir Hardy, could I have a brief word?
Well, it better be brief.
If the working people of Scotland were represented as they should be by 30 good men and true, then things would be different. But they're no. If the truth be told, the working man representative has not hitherto been much of a success in Parliament. As a rule, he's afraid of offending the proprieties by being considered extreme. He thinks more of his own reputation in the eyes of the House than of the interests of his suffering brethren in mill and in mine. If respectability be maintained by silence regarding the suffering of the people, then away with it. We want none of it. I'm extremely pleased to learn that there is a Labour Party in the United Kingdom. Should be better pleased to see some fruits of its existence. What difference does it make to us if we have a working man representing us in Parliament, if he's a dumb dog that will not bark and will follow the leader under any circumstances? Thank you for your time. As your Labour candidate for West Ham South, what do I stand for? I stand for temperance. I stand for the vote for all adults with no tests or qualifications. As your Labour candidate, I stand above all for the needs of the working classes, for I know those needs only too intimately, and for the reforms that we are desperate for. I will fight for them. I will fight for the nationalisation of the railways, of the coal mines, of the iron and steel industries, and I will fight for the nationalisation of the land. As for the House of Lords, it is an effete anachronism and must go. And the expenditure in the royal family is a national disgrace. I stand for free education for every child in this country. I stand for an 8-hour working day, for a national insurance fund. I stand for decent homes for the people by the compulsory building of healthy dwellings, for all labour disputes to be settled by independent tribunal. I stand for home rule for Ireland, for Scotland, for India, for Burma, Malaya, and every country in the British Empire.
The Honourable Member for West Ham South.
Who the hell's
Where did you
that?
find him?
Mr. Speaker, the sorrow of today is that the smartest trickster is the shining light. The majority bow down and admire him, for has he not made money?
What's wrong with that?
Indeed.
The Christian world has gone sadly astray. They do not know that they have forgotten the centre cross and are worshipping at the cross of the thief. I say that for too long the governors of the people have governed for their own profit. Now, you who are come face to face with one of the people you have governed, I'm not here to ape your manners or your dress.
That's perfectly
I am the first of a new type of legislator to whom slowly perhaps but surely you will give place.
Never.
I am the advance guard of an army that will render clear the phrase, government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Abraham Lincoln said that he got
My amendment to the Queen's speech is meant as a vote of censure. Any government which ignores the unemployed, yet claims to represent every class of the community, is unworthy the confidence of this House or of the country. A great movement grows in power. The Scottish Labour Party, which I founded, has joined with the ILP, which I founded. The future indeed is ours. But we need a great man to emerge, to usher in the new age by the compelling force of his mighty deeds. We lack a venerable personality around whom we can rally. We need a kingly man whose person can inspire confidence and command respect. I have read history in vain to see if any great movement ever came to fruition that had not a great man for its centre.
Did Keir Hardie say that?
Yes, the Labour Prophet, March 1892, sorry. Listen! I supported the suffragettes when nobody would listen to them. I opposed the Boer War. I opposed the 1914 war. I united the movement. The politicians, the trade unions, splinter groups of all kinds. I made the Labour Party what it was to become.
Aye. Aye, you were a great man.
Last night, I dreamt I was in hell. The heat, the flames, the sulphurous smoke. And I recognized the place. It was the ironworks my husband owns, which brings us all our comfort. I screamed and ran into a room in that hell, where the stench of human misery overpowered me. I sat down amongst thin, diseased little children dying for want of food and fresh air. Their hovel overrun by rats, lice, cockroaches, vermin of all kinds. Then I knew I was in the home of one of our laborers, one of those whose hard work produces our happiness. I screamed and screamed, which unfortunately woke my dear husband. I dare not tell him what I had dreamt. But I will speak to him about the plight of those poor people.
The fact is, we're not getting enough cash. I work a power loom at the Broadford Works at Aberdeen, We can't afford to feed ourselves, never mind our bairns. We asked the man for better wages, and all he offered us was his wife's old clays. Damn it into hell. I think we need to gang on strike.
Doreen, fae Dundee. A skivvy, eh? Oh, but we've got our own union now. The Dundee Female Servants Union. We work 15 hours a day, 6.5 days a week. The money's terrible. But it's not so much the money, it's the way we get treated. As if we were lower than their lapdogs. Oh, and they live in fear of us stealing fae them, or sleeping with their husbands, or drinking their brandy. Oh, but we ken how they live in fear.
Why should we only have the half hour for our dinners? I'm Gertie and I work at the weaving mill at Kinnan Park. And we're fed up. During your work hours, you can't leave your post, it all goes wrong. So by the time your dinner hour comes round, you're bursting for a pee. And there's only the 3 lavies for 100 women. So if you work it out, if it's only the half-hour break, even if it's all going non-stop in the lavvy like a mechanised pissing factory, you still have only 55 seconds per woman per pee. Now, if you care to try that, you'll find that being a normal woman who's tied to a loom for 5 hours is just no possible. Now, picture the agony of being 31st in the queue, with 6 in front, 2 behind, and the hooter blows to go back to work for another 5 hours. Imagine it. No. We want the 60 minutes that we're out on strike, and the Glasgow Trades Council's behind us. Some of them takes 20 minutes for a pish, so they understand.
We won. We got an increase of the wages. And when we come out, the Banner Mill women come out as well. Within a week, every mill woman at Aberdeen got a 20% increase of the wages.
We got nowhere. Oh, the secretary of the Dundee's Trades Council tell us some time must elapse, brothers, sisters, before you'll be strong enough to make a direct stand. Ugh, but we've still got our union. I'm Nell, a miner's lassie from Nits Hill. It's not much to be a miner's lassie, I ken. See, when my mother has a boy, he's a hutch of coals, for he can go down the pit and earn money. But when she has a girl, like me, they say it's a hutch of draws. Aye. See, we can't go down the pit. Well, no anymore. So most of the lassies from Nits Hill go to Neilston for work, to the thread mills. There's thousands of women. Oh, and piecework. And the prices aren't good. My family are socialists, and my brother says if we're not satisfied, we should strike. So we will. Everybody out for better prices. We're going to strike for better prices. No, you're slaves. Everybody better rates for women. Everybody better rates for other women. We all came out. Thousands of us. All shouting defiance and streaming out into the sunlight. My brother says if we had a strike, we should have a meeting. So we had a meeting. And we formed ourselves into a trade union. And we wrote to the Federation of Women Workers. And soon Neilson was buzzing with women speakers and women organisers. Even Mary MacArthur. What a speaker. In the end, we won your money. We needed more than wages. We needed some respect. Some dignity as people.
Some strength, some muscle.
Aye, some decency in our lives. Some peace, some love.
It's hour late for me, Hen.
As we go marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing, their ancient call for bread. Small art and love and beauty, their trudging spirits new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we go marching, marching, we're standing proud and tall. The rising of the women means the rising of us all. No more the drudge and idler tend that toil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses, bread and roses.
inability of the workers to purchase the wealth they create, the British state must have markets abroad. In order to have these markets, Britain must have an empire. And similarly, the capitalist development of Germany has forced upon that country the need for an empire as well as this country. It was therefore inevitable that there would be this terrible clash between Britain and Germany. But the workers did not instigate this war. The workers have no economic interest to serve as a consequence of the war. They must strike against it. But they must realize that if they do, they will be starved back into work again. It is the business of the workers of this country to take this whole matter in hand themselves.
Your trades union leaders in London have agreed new terms and conditions which are necessary if we are to win this war. We must keep our chaps at the front supplied with guns, tanks, shells and ammo.
Oh, you can tell your Minister of Munitions. You can go and jump the Clyde. We haven't fought all these years to keep our jobs and our wage rates up to a level we can live on. Just for you to take advantage of our brothers going off to fight in your war. To bring in untrained, unskilled men. And with all due respect, women. This is dilution of your jobs, and this we will not have.
You have no choice.
Oh, is that right? Well, we'll discuss it, but I'll tell you now what the answer will be.
This great gathering of women from Partick, Whiteinch and Scotstoun has come together to protest against these rent increases in this time of war. We have said no. We refuse to spend 1 penny more. Now the men in the yards and the politicians have offered us all support, which we should accept. But friends, this is essentially a women's fight. The women of Glasgow, of all classes, stand united. And when women have the vote, then we'll see a few changes made.
No human being on the face of the earth is going to take from me my right to protest against wrong. I am not here then as the accused. I am here as the accuser of capitalism, dripping with blood from head to foot.
And those who came home found not a land fit for heroes, but the dole queue.
We in the Clyde Workers' Committee must start to agitate. Why should men be working 55 or 60-hour weeks when other men need the work? We demand the 30-hour week for everybody. Cut the workers' burden in half and double the number employed all in one go. Good idea. No? Aye, well, unfortunately, it caught on.
We in the STUC demand unemployment insurance for all, interest-free house building, release of the conscientious objectors, and the 40-hour week.
30-hour week.
The 40-hour week.
Hang about. I would like to remind my colleague that we in the engineers have made a national agreement to work 47 hours.
47 hours now. We still demand a 30-hour week for everybody.
We in the STUC demand the 40-hour week.
But we agreed 47 hours, at least for the engineers.
Hold on. If the engineers are coming out, that means more money for the engineers and hee-haw for the unskilled labourers the likes of myself. It's all the same. That's how I'm not joining in your general strike.
We in the National Union of Scottish Mine Workers dissociate ourselves from the present erratic strike movement. Our members stay at their work.
So do the engineers.
But
the big strike happened. And when they came out on January the 27th, 1919, over 40,000 shipyard and engineering workers were out. The next day, Tuesday, 70,000 were out. But the power station men stayed at their work, and the municipal employees refused to come out, which meant the trams were still running. Right, bring on the tram. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, a genuine tramway tram. Now, here's the scene. Up here, Glasgow city chambers. Inside, the man from the Scottish office come to sort us out, and the strike leaders. Out there, George Square, packed, 20,000 people, no room to move.
The polis decided that the tram must move in time round George Square. So, they charged into the crowd, who could move neither right nor left, forward nor back. Now, if they'd wanted a riot, they couldn't have done better.
Once they'd got the tram through, for some reason, they charged right across the front of the city chambers.
They kept pushing us and pushing us. We ended up the steep hill, up North Frederick Street. But when we got to the top, there was this lemonade one, just laden in with ginger balls. Well, that was it. The bottles flew, battens cracked, eyes were blackened. It's just a wonder nobody get killed. Can you bastards?
Off went the bold leaders to prison. Strikers went back to work. They failed to get their 40-hour week.
We were organising a strike when we should have been organising a revolution. We'd no support for the rest of Scotland, from England or from the rest of the world. We were fighting among ourselves and we had no military strength. We didn't even know what we wanted or why we wanted it. The chance had come and gone. The cause of revolution in Scotland had been lost.
From now on, it was to be all constitutional. Constitution designed to preserve the status quo. But the legend lingered on. Bloody Friday, the great glorious day of the Red Clyde.
Along the River Clyde we built the one shop of the world. Along the River Clyde the Scarlet Banner was unfurled. With tanks and guns they came to take it down again in field, and we've not stopped fighting yet. You can throw us into prison. You can throw us into prison. You can throw us into prison, and we've not stopped fighting yet.
They came to poor old Glasgow and they closed the whole place down. Now they're selling culture tokens where the grapes of wrath are bound. They even laid into the grave the body of John Brown.
But his soul goes marching on. We are going to go on fighting, marching round and demonstrating, singing songs and celebrating. And the best song goes like this. Mrs. Thatcher came to Scotland like a wolf upon the fold. She thought we'd tug our forelocks like the peasants instead of old. But we're the school kids in the school, we'll not do as we're told. No, we've not stopped fighting yet. We're not gonna pay the poll tax. We're not gonna pay the poll tax. We're not gonna pay the poll tax. And we'll not stop fighting yet. And we've not stopped fighting yet.